Knickknack's Corner. I'm Nick, wearing my wizard robe in a corner. Today I'm going to talk to you about Song of Ice and Fire's Game of Thrones by George R. R. Martin. You may know this from the TV show, but we're going over the books. Today is also one of the first days I'm trying out my new structure for my videos, and hopefully it'll work out properly. So first things first is we're introduced to the Stark family up in the north, Winterfell, and the kingdom is actually in ruin because the king has done nothing but eat and drink himself to death, essentially. He's gone really large and is almost unrecognizable by Ned Stark when he shows up in Winterfell. Basically, it kicks us off with a bunch of old wives' tales that old Nan tells Bran, and slowly we see that they're starting to come true. Because, well, winter is coming. We follow many noble houses throughout the entire story. The Starks, Lannisters, and Targaryens are the main ones that we're following in the first book. I believe it is Bran, Jon, Sansa, Arya, Catelyn, and Eddard, all for the Stark family who is there. And it is Tyrion for the Targaryens and Daenerys for the... Tyrion for the Lannisters and Daenerys for the Targaryens. Yeah. And that's, I believe, the only people we follow in book 1. In book 2, there's a lot of new characters. As the books go on, new characters are entwined, and it's very interesting to see where they go. Those are the main ones that we follow in the first book. It's quite an entry to the world. We get to see Tyrion kind of get captured by Catelyn. We get to see Eddard, Ned, trying to go to the capital and fit in, but northern men don't do well when they go south, and it just proves it again that it doesn't go too well. Sansa's trying to scan her political landscape and see where she's gonna end up. She's betrothed to Joffrey, who is a little poopy head that no one likes, and he gets his comeuppance later, which we'll talk about in another book series here. But everything in the book is pretty amazing. They give you an amazing backstory through thoughts of characters. For instance, Eddard, we get to see a lot more of Ashara Dane. We get to see a little bit about the Tower of Joy, his fever dream, stuff like that. I'm of the camp that Jon Snow is Ashara Dane's and Ned Stark's son, and that Aegon is Rhaegar and Lyanna's. So we'll see how that plays out. This book is a fantastic entry into the world, and I give it 5 stars on my Goodreads. I am obsessed with the series, the books, more so than the show, because there are so many hidden meanings and the books aren't finished. And I say let George take his time, because he's gonna write an amazing story, and he's got a ton of books he's got to go through just to get the proper information. All of them are thick. They're all tomes of books, and it's a lot of information, a lot of characters, a lot of backstories, and he's got to try and make them all sound correct. I think he's a fantastic writer that you could definitely feel his voice in every book. The feeling from book to book doesn't change. I'm reading some Robert Jordan right now, his Wheel of Time series. I'm on almost done book 2, so look for a review for that coming up soon. And his voice changed from book 1 to book 2, and I'm interested to see if it changes again to book 3, where he's grown as a writer, where George has already found his voice when he started this, and George did a fantastic job on that. George has done such an amazing job at conveying his story over time that fans are still trying to figure out what's what in his world. We all have our own little theories, like I mentioned before about Jon Snow and Aegon for me. There's all kinds of little tidbits of information in there. It would probably take about 16 rereads just to try and find them all if you're making notes about it. And I love that there's like more than one story going on here. Like, it has inspired me so much for my own writing. Not in the way of the story, but the writing style. I love how he does his chapters where they're just named after the character you're following, so you aren't confused as to whose head you're in when you're reading it. And there's like a backstory and a story going on, story going in the north, story going over in Essos. It's fantastic. I love it because it's a writing style that I can incorporate a lot of my own thoughts into for when I go to write my book. For instance, I'm having multiple characters because I want to tell a bunch of different stories that I've always had thought up of, but they're like just short stories, so they're no good for that. But I can incorporate a bunch of short stories into a single story and make them all intertwined. And that's what George has done for me for In My Head. I compare all my fantasy books to Tolkien. Tolkien's the granddaddy of them all for me. And so when I got this book, I definitely compared it to Tolkien. It's way different than Tolkien. I can see his references to Tolkien. I can see where he's, following along, but he doesn't do what Robert Jordan did. Robert Jordan took a blueprint and made his own story. George is taking the tropes that Tolkien wrote and putting them on his head. And I love it. I think it's fantastic. This is just like, the show was good right up until the final couple seasons. And this book for me was a great series of books to read. I read them years ago, trying to get ahead of the show when I first started. And I think A Dance with Dragons was the first one I was ahead of the show on. And really enjoyed it, loved it. It was fantastic. The show was good, but the books are better as usual, always better. Dragons, zombies, magic. What could you want? What more could you want from a story? It's like so good. In conclusion to this video, I guess, would be that you should definitely read the series. If you've seen the show and you're kind of hungry for more, read the books. Books are fantastic. You're going to lose your mind when you read them because you're going to go, why did the show cut out this? Because once again, it's adaptation, and adaptations have to leave stuff on the cutting room floor. It's the way it is. And whatever George does with the books from here on out, I'm sure will be wonderful and delightful. I am definitely of the camp that says let him be and let him do his writing. And when it comes out, it'll come out and it'll be fantastic. And I am excited for that, and I will be one of the people who wait for it. Anyway, guys, that's going to be all for today. So my Goodreads, Instagram, and Tumblr are all down below. I'll also post up my Caravan app, so if you want to go follow along in any book clubs, please do. And also give me a like and thumbs up and subscribe, and thank you for watching my video. We have grown a lot since we started, and I have to thank you guys for watching, because if it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't be making videos anymore. So thank you very much, and have yourselves a wonderful day.